Hey there, church family. This is Pastor Paul. Just wanted to tell you a couple things that are happening in the new year, kind of things that you can get excited about. I can't tell you everything that's going to happen in the new year, but I want to give you a couple things that we're doing at the church that you could get really excited about and maybe prepare yourself for. So I want to jump in right away in January. So in January, we are launching our 10-week discipleship journey. You've heard us talk about this. You've seen testimonies of our staff going through it. You got a little sneak peek of kind of that, how some of that life change has happened, and we got to see testimonies about that with the pilot groups that we did. So we are launching that to the church January 22nd. So look forward to that. Many of you have already expressed interest in joining us in that journey. Our goal is to get 100 people through that journey in all of 2023. We already have a lot of interest into that, so that's something to be processing through. So January 22nd, we'll be launching that 10-week journey. We're very excited about what that's gonna look like. So if you're exploring the idea, maybe even of what does it mean to follow Jesus, know that Jesus called his disciples, and when he called them to follow them or follow him, that they didn't have all their questions answered. They had some doubts. They had some, maybe hesitations, but they followed Jesus. And so maybe you're in that stage of you're exploring Christianity. I know this 10-week journey sounds like a long process, but this is a perfect time for you to get a practical understanding of what does it mean to follow Jesus? What does it mean to be a believer? What does it mean to be a follower of Jesus Christ in your daily life? And if you feel like maybe your spiritual life needs a kind of a reset or a kickstart or just kind of more life breathed into it, this is a perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of. So I think whether you're following Jesus or not yet following Jesus, January 22nd is a perfect thing to step into this 10-week journey. Also, I want to tell you kind of what we're going to do in our sermon series. What are we going to be studying as a church family? We're going to be walking through the writings of Luke, so the Gospel of Luke and the book of Acts, really the ministry life of Jesus and then the ministry life of his first century followers after his resurrection. So we're going to walk through this as we walked through the Bible last year. We're going to really slow down. Instead of going through the whole Bible, we're going to go through the ministry life of Jesus in the Gospel of Luke and what the early church looked like in the book of Acts. Now we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to take actually topics and go through the Gospel and then go through Acts of what that topic looks like. So to start off, we're starting the year with the call. What does it mean when Jesus calls us to follow him? What does that look like? And so we're going to look at the calling in the gospel. We're going to look at the calling in the book of Acts. And then we're going to jump into a series on prayer. What does prayer look like in the ministry life of Jesus and for his first century followers? This directly comes out of that survey that we took as a church, and you expressed that you wanted to grow in your prayer life. This is a direct kind of answer to that request. Is we're going to walk through the writings of Luke and examine the topic of prayer. After that, we jump into a really great series I'm really excited about. It's just looking at the women in the ministry life of Jesus and in the early church, the leadership roles that they had, the ministry that they did. So we're very excited about that. That will actually round off the first half of the year, and then we'll dive into more topics, and I'll tell you about those at a different time. But I wanted to give you kind of a taste of what was coming. Also with this, as we slow things down, instead of walking through the entire Bible, which was a great journey, we're slowing it down and going through really 2 books topically as we kind of run a line through the Gospel of Luke and then to Acts with these different topics. So because we're slowing down, we're actually going to use a different translation of the Bible. Instead of using the NLT, which I think is great when you're taking on these really big, large chunks of reading, we're going to slow it down. And because we're going a little slower, we're going to get a more technical translation, the English Standard Version. So that's what we're going to be using. So if you bring your Bible to church and you don't just look at the screen, make sure you're just kind of aware of that. We're switching our translation for this season as we walk through these new series. I'm really excited about what God's doing at our church. I hope you're excited as well. That's a little sneak peek of what to look forward to in the new year. And we hope you join us on that 10-week discipleship journey. And we're very excited as you join us as we walk through the writings of Luke and look at different topics of how they impacted the ministry life of Jesus and how it was unpacked in the early church. So looking forward to a journey with you in 2023.